right, folks, we're back here on Village in Motion this Tuesday, June the 9th. It's a wonderful day outside, and we've been talking about foot care. Go out and enjoy it some, but first, before you go out and enjoy it, stay tuned with us here. And so we're going to talk with Kimberly Nelson from Philanthropy, and we're very glad to have you with us today, Kimberly.
So glad to be here, and loved that roll-in with Amy Everett speaking at the Scholar Ceremony.
Yes.
You know, the residents should be very proud to know that they're making such a difference in people's lives, and I'm so glad she came back with her mom and her sister to just really give a few words of encouragement and thanks, because that really has such meaning.
And I think it's so very important for each year to have someone come back and really share what they've been able to do with their life thanks to the generous donations of the residents.
And that concept was a recommendation from the Resident Philanthropy Committee. So that is why over the last couple years we've had not only a returning scholar, but we've also recently incorporated the principals from the local schools. Because again, we have such a great partnership with the schools and our students, and so it's a great partnership. So, but I did want to talk a little bit more about scholars, even though the campaign is done, because it is such an important part of the culture here at Green Spring.
And we can always donate to it.
Yeah, as with anything through the philanthropy office, you can always donate any time of the year to any of the funds, whether it's the hospice, scholars, benevolent care, even the Channel 6 TV studio. You can do any of those things, or if there's something new you want to talk about, come talk to me. We'll see if we can figure it out. Those are all year round, but we do a certain campaign that residents sort of think of as that's the time you raise money for certain things. And that's when we sort of do more awareness, more push, and more education. But the scholarship program has grown so much since I joined Green Spring in 2002 that I thought it might be good, if you don't mind, for us to just sort of go over a little history about it to help maybe remind former residents who've been here a long time, but also help new residents.
Because I didn't know until this scholarship ceremony that it started by 4 residents.
Yes.
I mean, I just thought it was fascinating. And go ahead, talk about it if you would,
Yeah,
please.
it did. So the scholarship program was started prior to Kimberly joining Green Spring. It was really when Jeff Watson was here as our resident life director, with 4 residents, and one of those residents, Sybil Levin, is still with us, and we were so excited she was at the award ceremony. And when we first started the program, we had 1 scholar.
Wow.
Just 1.
Yeah.
And when we think this year to 31, you can see how it has grown. And when it first began, the scholarship back in 1999, when it was first rolled out, it was a $4,000 scholarship over 4 years, paid directly to the university. And now it has increased to $10,000. Obviously, tuition has gone up significantly. And while we may not be able to always keep pace with rising tuition costs with our scholarship process, the committee is very sensitive to that in trying to find the right balance of a scholarship that has meaning and impact, but also is financially the right balance for the community. So that is sort of where we are now. And Green Spring is one of 2 Erickson Living communities that has a $10,000 scholarship. The other community is Fox Run. So we are the only 2 at that benchmark level.
And Fox Run is the one that's close to Detroit, right?
Yes, in Michigan.
In Michigan.
And so that's, again, another feather in our cap. So historically, what has happened, because we have had really a handful of students, if you think we started with 1, and probably for many years we were in that 12 to 18 student number for scholarships. We have raised money through what we would call an annual campaign, which is probably what residents think of most often. We raise money during sort of that 6 weeks, with April or May, and we think of scholarship and graduation, and we raise money to fully fund all 4 years
Right.
for the current students. And Green Spring has done that up until through the end of the class of 2013. That is how we were able to fund and actually even have a little overage in some cases, all of our scholarships.
But all of those came directly from the residents' money each year.
Yes, they came from resident gifts, staff gifts when we do our Gene Days and things,
Okay.
and a few businesses give some things too, like the bank and a few others. But primarily, 99% comes from residents who really believe in education, who understand the importance, some who maybe had the opportunity to go to college in their lifetime, and some maybe did not, but realized how important it is for the future. And so really we appreciate that so much.
Right.
In 2014, last year,
Right.
we had a dramatic jump in students.
Yes. Yes, we did.
That was, and I want to say we went from 18 or 19, let me see if I have it in my notes. We went from 19 to 32.
Right.
So in 2013, we had 19 students. In 2014, we had 32 students. Now, as a general rule, we have raised, Green Spring, has raised to meet the need. But
Right.
when you go from 19 students and needing 190,000
Right.
to 32 students and needing 320,000, that was quite a big jump.
Yes.
And
That's not chump change.
no, that was a big jump. And I think it speaks volumes to our partnership with the schools.
Yes.
That not only do students want to work here, but they want to excel academically
Yes.
and work here.
Right.
Because there is an academic component to the scholarship.
Yes.
They can't be flunking a class.
Right.
So it really speaks to, really, these are students who are making an impact in their education life as well as their work life.
Yes.
So last year, through our annual campaign, we raised $229,000.
Okay.
Now, $229,000 does not fund 32 students.
Right.
But what happened last year is we did have a resident who had passed away, and their estate, part of their entrance deposit,
Right.
went to the scholarship fund,
Which was really wonderful.
which really helped that shortfall
Yes.
last year. So that really was such a blessing because we didn't have to sort of look in other directions
Right.
because of how they designated it.
And so that money then was used to make up the difference between the 229
Yes.
and the 320.
And the 320.
Okay.
So that sort of went into that fund, okay? Which is what we call a realized plan gift.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what has happened over the years is Green Spring now has, and maybe residents are not aware of it because it was just finalized the end of 2013.
Okay.
There is a Scholars Fund endowment.
Okay.
And if you look in your annual report, when the board was here, on page 8, there's a little graph, and it talks about Scholars Fund endowment.
Okay.
Now that endowment is a little bit of some overage from previous years, but it's mainly from some legacy gifts
Yes.
where residents have passed away and they've said, we want to give to scholarship, but we don't want to use it for the kids this year
Yes. Right.
in the active pot.
Right.
We want the principal to remain intact forever, and you can only use the interest,
Okay.
which is wonderful.
Yeah. So, and a lot of us know that the seed money stays as it is, and it's the interest that's made off the seed money.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's strictly interest. And so that was established the end of 2013.
Okay.
So obviously in 2014,
Right.
we now have had a year of interest
Right.
to see how that can help support the students. And so for this year, we raised $215,000
Okay.
through the annual giving.
All right.
Okay. And if no one gives another dime, we have the interest from the scholarship endowment,
Okay.
which was established the end of 2013. We have the interest from 2014,
Yes.
which is $140,000, and it's detailed in the board report, that can be utilized for this year's students so that we meet our goal of $310,000.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. So in other words, the money that the residents and businesses give, and
Yes.
staff give,
Yes.
plus the interest off of the principal or seed money
Yes.
from the endowment that's already been established,
Yes.
comes up to $310,000.
So we are okay.
And everybody's happy.
Everyone's happy. Now, if a resident says, I don't want you to have to use all that interest,
Right.
and they decide later in the year they want to give us a gift, or someone leaves something through their estate,
Right.
and we don't have to touch the interest, then it will stay and we'll be able to use it in the future.
Okay.
Because we all know that we may have more students again next year. We may be in the same situation where we're going to need now, instead of just annual giving to fund the scholarship, it's really going to be a combination of annual giving and planned giving, either through the endowment interest or through other planned gifts. So it now is, the program has really grown and blossomed to sort of a much more mature level so that we can do more things with it, if that makes sense to residents.
So we have moved forward.
We have, and it's so exciting.
Yes.
And really, it could not have happened without all of the residents, past and present, because it really is a legacy. So if residents aren't sure, I would say look at your board book. If they have questions, come see me. I can try to walk it through so it's understandable. Berwick in finance can sort of walk it through if there's questions. But I want residents to understand that it's very methodical, it's very purposeful, it's very strategic, and that it is about annual giving as well as planned giving in some fashion
Yes.
to really grow the program and make it stronger. And we just really thank the residents for their vision and just getting behind it in whatever way works for them.
And we are so glad that you're here and that you're working with this and you've been able to lead us to achieve this. It's absolutely tremendous.
Well, the committee has been really phenomenal, so we really appreciate the partnership with our resident committee.
And on the 25th of this month, that committee's chairman and council liaison will be here, and we'll be talking about what that committee is doing. So,
Yes.
with the Philanthropy Committee.
Wonderful.
So really
Well,
pleased to do that.
Look forward to being back.
Great. Well, again, thank you for coming this morning, Kimberly.
Oh.
Greatly appreciate it.
You are so welcome. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks.